All right, guys, and welcome to the Pitchfork Podcast for tonight, guys. We're going to be recording some videos and making some content so you guys can enjoy it. So if you want to catch the live show, I'll be doing live shows once a week. And I also record separately outside of live shows, but I want to make sure I give you guys an actual show and show you how I record. Now, I record sometimes in segments. That's why you see a lot of jump cuts. And basically, it's going to be a fluid, continuous story. So basically, I want to do that to cover these bad cop stories. And so these are going to be fresh stories. So let's get into the show without further delay. This story comes from North Carolina. 15 men went to jail on false charges. And now this publication, which is the News Observer, is asking, should the NC police officer who arrested them be charged? So Raleigh Police Detective Omar Abdullah was accused in a federal lawsuit of framing people with a confidential informant who used fake drugs. And so basically, he had someone going around with fake heroin and selling it to people and setting them up and framing them as if they're some kind of hardcore drug user, even though that's not the case. And so here's a prime example of what we're talking about here. Curtis Logan pleaded guilty to a lesser charge because he was facing a mandatory minimum sentence of nearly 6 years in prison. And he spent 104 days in jail because he was accused of selling heroin in front of his two children, who were then 2 and 8 years old, and charged with drug trafficking and child abuse. Well, it turns out that a few months later, the conviction was essentially overturned because it was found out that Omar Abdullah had caused more than a dozen black men to spend a collective 2.5 years in jail on false charges. And so in September, the city of Raleigh agreed to pay out a total of $2 million to 15 plaintiffs in a federal lawsuit alleging Abdullah and 2 other officers and other back-tie officers and other background officers worked with a confidential informant to frame people on fake drug trafficking charges from October 2018 to May 15th, 2020. And so basically what you have here, is a case of a police officer going around looking for charges to throw on people. And so he used an informant and other officers to frame people for things that they did not do. And then they would catch them in the most compromised situation possible. Like, for example, when your children are around, so that they can add more charges to it to make you look as worse as possible in front of a judge, which is why these men were convicted, because this is essentially what we call the silver bullet in court. It's when you throw so many accusations until one has to stick. And so that's why that man was convicted. And so this story goes to show you that there's so many problems with policing and courts, where police officers are given so much deference, even though there was no evidence to show any amount of guilt. And by the way, I think the whole drug war is stupid in the first place. Pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Pretty crazy to me, I must say. Pretty crazy. Let's get into the next one here. So this one here is pretty interesting. This one here is I mean, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. I want to get the state this is from, though. So, let's see. Captain Ryan Shepard, Smithfield Police. Okay. Interesting. So now that I know who you are, sir. Interesting. Let's get into the story. This story comes from North Carolina. A Smithfield police captain named Ryan Shepard has been cited following an off-duty incident over a handicapped parking space. Police Captain Ryan Shepard is charged, and this man is charged with misdemeanor stalking and communicating threats. And so the altercation took place over the weekend at a PetSmart in Mooresville, North Carolina. Captain Shepard was briefly detained. Captain Shepard was detained and handcuffed by the Mooresville Police Department before being released at the scene. And the alleged victim in the case went to the Wake County Magistrate's office. And then the alleged victim went to the Wake County Magistrate's office and obtained a criminal. And then the alleged victim in the case went to the Wake County Magistrate's office and obtained a criminal summons against a law enforcement officer. And so basically, to give you a little bit of background here, here's the little long and the short of it. So this man was sitting in his car and he was waiting on his wife while she was shopping in a nearby store. And so the captain allegedly pulled up and was looking for a parking spot. And so the captain began banging on the man's car window violently. And so this man cracked the window. And after that, Captain Shepard asked whether or not he had a handicap placard, which was clearly posted. He then left in an angry manner as if he was frustrated. And so the long and the short of it is that altercation escalated into an actual altercation where this man began shouting threats, taking pictures, and then followed this other guy all the way around the parking lot. And that's why this man found himself in handcuffs and was briefly detained. And so it's very interesting to find out if this man's going to be fired for going around threatening citizens who pay his taxes, for going around threatening citizens who pay his salary, and also for stalking people over a handicap placard that was clearly posted, so the other man did nothing wrong whatsoever. And this story goes to show you that for some reason, police departments keep hiring these psychopaths. Holy smokes! This is just it's getting crazier. Like they're just coming full circle, man. Let me switch the aspect real quick. Give me a second. Let me switch this real quick. There we go. Cool. So while I pull up some more stories real quick, give me a second. Anyways, how you guys doing tonight? Let me know. Let me know how you guys doing now. How you feeling? Let me know how you guys doing. Man. Let's get into this one, man. Let's get into this one. So here we go. Let me fix my camera. All right, here we go. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let me make sure I get this. Make sure I get the right name here. Let's go to Google. Thomas Quinn. Okay, so here we go. All right, so let's get into the story here. So this story comes from Florida, and it's about a Sebastian police officer who has been terminated. And so this man's name is Thomas Quinn, and I love how he's got the little thin blue line flag right there. Mwah! Beautiful, just like Campbell's soup. Good, baby. And so in the afternoon of March 1st, 2021, the Sebastian Police Department was made aware of a social media post by a person unknown to police, which contained concerning allegations. And so at that time, it was being pieced together that it was about one of their police officers. And so on March 2nd, 2021, it was found out that the post creator was actually Thomas Quinn's ex-girlfriend. And so that woman was interviewed, and there were several serious allegations over several months in multiple jurisdictions were brought up against Mr. Quinn during the interview. And so the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, or FDLE, conducted a criminal investigation into possible criminal law violations due to the allegations stemming across multiple jurisdictions. And that's when Mr. Quinn was placed on leave on March 3rd, 2021, pending the outcome of the administrative investigation. And so we find out a little bit more about what this man's been accused of, and boy, it is a laundry list. And so during a 5-month-long investigation, Thomas Quinn was found to have sustained violations of perjury, aggravated assault, trespass in a dwelling, engaging in sexual activity while on duty, untruthfulness, taking or sending sexually explicit photos while on duty in uniform, disobeying a direct order, and violating state laws. And so as a result of that laundry list of allegations and things that were proven, actually, and so as a result of all these things that were proven, by the way, this man found himself to be terminated. This man found himself out of a job. And so this story goes to show you that, holy smokes, when I say that Florida police officers are extra, and by extra, I mean extra crazy, you see exactly what I mean by that. Man. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. My boy's got some issues, man. We got to get this man some tissues for his issues, man. I love stories like this, man. I love stories like this. I love stories like this. Stories like this make me happy. Because I hate the drug war, right? I hate the drug war. Don't get me wrong. I dislike the drug war. However, if you engage in a drug war, I have no problem with you suffering. So, let's get into it. So this story comes from Mississippi. And so I have no issue with people consuming cannabis, but if you are a police officer who has no issue with people being arrested for smoking a plant, then I have no issue with you being arrested for smoking a plant or possessing that plant, because 2 Jackson police officers have been arrested in Flowood, Mississippi, and charged with marijuana possession. And so it was a man and woman pair that were arrested. And their names are Kenya Sade McCarty and Darius Jamal Short, who were both police officers who were found with an open container of alcohol and also a little bit of that ganja. And these 2 officers, who are police officers, by the way, who should know the law and how to hide crimes, were found Friday smoking that ganja in a public park. But I guess it kind of does make sense because they are both rookie police officers with the Jackson Police Department. And so we find out that possession of 30 or less grams of marijuana is punishable for... And so this state is absolutely insane because simple possession of 30 grams or less of marijuana is punishable by up to 3 years of imprisonment and a fine of up to $3,000. And it gets a little bit worse because they were sitting near a pond, which means that they were just out in the open. Because if you're near a pond, that means that trees can't protect you in terms of providing cover. So that means that you got a big open space where people can clearly see you, right? Because that's how the cops found them. And the cops also found them with firearms. So that's also another charge of possessing a firearm while being intoxicated. So these officers are facing a lot of time behind bars, the same way that individuals who are citizens are also facing the exact same time in this crazy state. However, once again, I don't like the fact that the drug war is being conducted in the first place. But if you're going to hold citizens to one standard, then I have no issue with these officers facing all these charges. Making rookie mistakes. Making rookie mistakes, man. Rookie mistakes. You a police officer, right? They catch you in a public park. Mind you, you're near a lake, right? So if you're near a lake, there's no trees in lakes. It's going to automatically be a big open ass space for everyone to fucking look at you, right? Damn. Well, you get what you get, you know? You get what you get, you know? You get what you get. Give me a second. Let me head back over here real quick. Let me head back over here real quick. You get what you get. That's how I see it, personally. Now, let me bring up a few more stories. I'm try to get as many done as I can without see how long my energy can last. Let's see how long my energy can last. Let's see how long it can last. Because I want to see if I can ride this energy wave that I got right now. Oh boy. Oh boy. This one's going to be a lovely one. You're going to like this one, guys. Oh boy. Can I get an oink oink, man? Can I get an oink oink? Can I get a oink oink? Boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So this story comes from Nevada. And it's about a North Las Vegas police officer who had a child in the car at the time that he crashed his vehicle, and it turns out that he was drunk. So the white Kukinol is accused of driving under the influence when he crashed his vehicle in the area of Osa Blanca Road and Farm Road on December the 11th. And it turns out he had a young child in the car at the time. So that's why he found himself in handcuffs. Because as you might imagine, that is child endangerment. And drinking while you're driving is most very much illegal. So, Kukinol initially drove away from the scene of the crash, but then he returned and spoke with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officers. Police officers who described him as having slow speech, an unsteady gait, and the slight odor of an unknown alcoholic beverage. So Kukinol was taken to Centennial Hills Hospital to be checked out after the crash and consented to have his blood drawn as evidence, as officers stated. And the young child in the back of Kukinol's vehicle at the time of the crash was not injured and was left in the custody of his mother. And after getting checked out at the hospital, Kukinol was taken to the Clark County Detention Center. Kukinol was taken into custody for booking. Kukinol was taken into custody, where he reportedly told booking staff that he made some mistakes today and would deal with them. And he added that he had previously been to substance abuse treatment. So this police officer, who has a badge and a gun and was on duty up until this point, had already been to substance abuse treatment, which lets you know that there's no damn way someone looked into his background and didn't realize this. And so whoever hired this man needs to be fired and brought up on charges. And this man should have never had a badge and a gun to begin with. Do you understand what this story is actually telling you? If you had any amount of common sense, you would realize that what this story is telling you is that you can't trust a single police officer in Nevada because you had a man crash his vehicle with the child in the car who already had substance abuse issues up until that point. And I'm just dying to hear how Blue Lives Matter is going to defend this one. Holy smokes. Holy shit. Anyone care to defend this? Anyone? Boy. So we're going to get into this story here. This story is absolutely fucking insane. This story is absolutely fucking insane. This story comes from Colorado. And it's about a former Greenwood police officer. And it's about a former Greenwood Village police officer named Adam Holland, who had a road rage incident and fatally shot a 17-year-old boy named Peyton Blistine Sorry about that. I'll edit that part out. Whenever I have to redo lines like that, I have to edit some stuff out. That's why you see a whole lot of jump cuts. I actually do stutter a lot. So the way that I talk fast, but I also stutter. So the way that I alleviate that is I will break up the actual videos. So I'll do like jump cuts, and I'll use an actual fade and a lot of the other things if the jump cuts are like way too crazy. So anyways, let's get more into this. I wanna get into the video footage. So let's get into the video footage.
And
police have recommended charges to the DA.
Yes, Karen, and Aurora police didn't give us a lot of information after the shooting occurred. They only said that they were working to determine who the primary aggressor was. Well, nearly a month later, APD has come to the conclusion that while unplanned, Holland murdered the 17-year-old.
Wow.
I know during Christmas, we're planning on just having a dinner and we'll leave Peyton's chair empty.
17-year-old Peyton Blistine was approached by Adam Holland on this street the night before Thanksgiving. The two allegedly argued over the teen's reckless driving. Both drew guns and shot each other.
Wow.
Peyton later died at the hospital. Aurora police announced they've submitted a second-degree murder warrant for Holland to the district attorney.
I would have liked to see first degree, but second degree is it's sufficient.
Peyton's family doesn't know why APD took so long, but it's one step closer to justice.
Look at this. I want y'all to see something, right? I want y'all to know something, right? I want y'all to see something real quick.
Justice. They're still piecing
I want y'all
together.
to see something real quick.
Well, doesn't know why APD took so long.
Look at that. They're making shirts just like black people do whenever they lose They're making shirts just like black people whenever they lose a loved one, you know, and I just feel for this family. Especially when they said that chair is going to be empty for Christmas. You know, these are the kind of monsters that Blue Lives Matter defends. They don't want accountability for these monsters. It took forever to get these charges. And you got this boy's birth date and his death date on a t-shirt right now. That boy was born in 2004, y'all. He was only a baby. You don't feel what those parents feel. You don't feel what his loved ones feel. And a grown man went after a boy in a road rage incident. You would think a police officer and a grown goddamn man would know better than to take someone's loved one away from them. That family is hurting right now. And these are white people. Where the hell is All Lives Matter, huh? Where the hell is Blue Lives Matter? Why is it me who is pro-Black Lives Matter, the black man speaking up for a white family and a white boy who was murdered?
But it's one step closer to justice. They're still piecing together what happened that night.
He just came at me and shot at me, dude. He just came at me and shot at me. Are you kidding me?
Now it's up to the DA to decide whether to move forward with charges.
Adam needs.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, you could see the pain. I hate stories like this, man. This is why sometimes, like, y'all want me to stream every day. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Something bad would happen to a damn police officer. I'm telling you. I couldn't do it every day. I gotta take breaks. You know, I do this to hold cops accountable, but I gotta take breaks because I want to keep myself safe and cops safe from me. So if I gotta take breaks to make that happen, then that's what's gotta happen, man. You know. Feel me? I'm not saying I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just saying I take breaks so that it doesn't get to that point. You feel me? That's the peaceful thing to do. If you notice where you're starting to see people as less and less as a person, should just walk away for a couple of days. You know, that's why I record so many videos all in one stream. That way I can do that. Because I want to get up 6-7 videos and just do it like that. I don't want to just. I'm telling you, if I do this every day, man, it's not going to end well. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you, man. I have a real issue with cops, man. Like they gotta chill, but y'all taking away people's family members and shit, man. That's why I say, like, I take breaks, man. I take breaks because if I don't, it would just. It wouldn't be good. So I take breaks to refocus and regroup, but I also do it to promote safety at all times. Not advise everybody. If you have something that you do that's kind of like me, I would strongly advise you to do that. Do that, Take breaks. Okay. Take breaks. But we're going to get more into a little bit more stories here. Let me take a little sip of my drink. All right. We got to cover a little bit more stories here. So let me cover a little bit lighter story. A little lighter story. I don't want to cover a heavy one here. All right. Let's get into the story here. This story comes from Wisconsin, and a new Wisconsin law is aimed at curbing wandering officer phenomenon in law enforcement. So the wandering officer phenomenon is when the officers are fired or left their job for misconduct only to find work in another department. And so this news agency found that since 2016, nearly 200 officers who were fired for cause or quit in lieu of termination found work at other law enforcement agencies in Wisconsin. And they've even provided a nice little chart and graph here for you. And when I heard that, I said, holy smokes, that's insane, because that would mean that if you play the math there, that you had 200 officers who encounter maybe just 20 people a day. And if you were to do the math there, that would actually mean that is a lot of opportunity for officers who were terminated for misconduct to encounter citizens to engage in more misconduct. To encounter citizens to engage in more misconduct. And so the new law was signed in November by Governor Tony Evers. And it would make quitting in lieu of termination a potential reason to decertify an officer in Wisconsin, meaning that they can no longer be a law enforcement officer professional in that state. And the Wisconsin Department of Justice has kept a database of officers who quit or were fired for agencies. And the Wisconsin Department of Justice has kept a database of officers who quit or were fired from agencies who may consider hiring them in the future. However, the list only provides information on if an officer was flagged, but not why they were flagged. So you may be fired for misconduct, but it's not explained the reason why you were fired for misconduct. And so this story goes to show you that many states are doing more to solve police misconduct than our crappy federal government or President Joe Biden or Vice President Kamala Harris or Congress or the Senate. So my hat is tipped off, and my hat goes off to Wisconsin. Good work on trying to solve the problem with pigs in law enforcement. I love it. I love it. So we're going to flag you for misconduct, but we ain't going to say the reason why. You know, slapping your mama while on duty, that's misconduct. And I think that should be notated, right? Throwing a hand grenade into a child's crib, that's misconduct. I think we can all agree with that. It should be notated, hey, this officer likes to throw hand grenades to babies' cribs, you know? Just a little note, you know? Nothing crazy. Just saying. This story is exceptional. Boy. This story is exceptional. So, hold on. My dogs are barking. And my girlfriend just came home. Hey, baby, how you doing? It's okay. Well, I'm not recording yet. My girlfriend, I will remind everybody, she's a fully fledged court reporter right now, and she's considered one of the best in the state because law firms contact her nonstop. So I want to congratulate her live on stream because she says that I don't usually do it. So right now I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it on TikTok later when I stream on TikTok too. So that way you can't say I don't do that. That job is very difficult. I'm gonna tell you. So court reporting, just kind of give you a little bit of a heads up, is shorthand. They get this little thing called a steno machine, right?
Yep.
And or a stenograph, and they gotta type, like, basically the keys aren't like a regular keyboard. You have to basically press one or two keys to form like a sentence sometimes, and
more than that.
Yeah, and you gotta do this at talking pace, verbatim. So just do the math in your head and realize, think about how I talk. I can talk lightning fucking fast. Imagine trying to talk on a regular type on a regular keyboard what I'm saying. Now imagine doing that when you're on the record. Whereas if you make too many mistakes, you not only get fired, you can never work in that field ever again. There's not much room for error. It has to be verbatim. All right? And when I say verbatim, there are federal statutes. You could actually go to jail in some cases if you fuck up in a certain kind of way where it almost appears like you're being biased. Mm-hmm. So, no pressure. Just don't fuck up once. No pressure. No pressure.
You're allowed to interrupt and seek clarification.
Yeah. You are allowed to interrupt the judge and say, "Hey, Your Honor, if you want a verbatim transcript, you gotta give me something here."
I don't do court. I do deposition.
So she does depositions. She doesn't do she doesn't do the criminal courts. But I don't want to get into what she does because, again, that could interfere with what she does, because I don't want to know. I don't want to know about the actual cases. In fact, whenever she's on the record, I gotta leave the whole apartment. Most times I just leave the whole apartment.
Office.
I leave the office, but most times I leave the whole apartment, especially depending on, you know, if I hear some actual talking, I leave the whole apartment. I don't want to know because it's not legal for me to know. But
We capture the record. That's all.
yeah, they capture the
Attorneys
freaking
make
record.
The record. We capture.
And so it's the one job that you can't automate because
Right.
the problem is that you have people like me.
With accents.
A
slang.
machine can't capture me. It's not possible. I've tried this one speech to text program called Dragon. Dragon lost me about, I think, within the second paragraph. It just lost me. It took it. I was speaking so fast it took it about 30 seconds to like catch up. So when you want a verbatim transcript and you have to actually stop for clarification, in that second, you can't wait 30 seconds to ask for the clarification. You know, because let's say that the person, let's say you get someone who's like on the stand, right? And she may not be dealing with that, may or may not. I don't want to say for sure, but let's say that you have that, right? And let's say that the lawyer has a great point and they're grilling that person, they're getting them like TV show drama. And the court person says, "Wait, hey, 30 seconds ago." No, a machine can't do what she does, and this is why, no matter how much you've tried to, we've tried to automate, and we've actually tried to automate court reporting. I've seen machines attempt it 10 years ago. It worked out for about 3 months in California, about 3 months,
And it blew up in their faces.
and I remember about I think it was like 10 years ago they were paying court reporters shitty, and that's basically why you have a union there, right? And I think they're still protesting for like wages and for like more and more recognition. But I know that's one of the reasons why they're paying them so much now, because they're seeing that you can't automate what she does. It's not possible. She also speaks different languages. And so when you get people who are from different countries, like say somebody from like Mexico, who can speak English, but they got that thick ass country bumpkin Mexican accent, you're gonna need someone like that who can interpret it, because a machine can't. Because I'm gonna tell you, there's no listen, the amount of computing power you would need to not only interpret English, one language, English, but in every dialect spoken, from Appalachian white people speaking, from down South Georgia speaking, to South Carolina Gullah speaking, to Chicago fast speaking, to New York, I don't know what the fuck they're saying half the goddamn time, to California West Coast shit, to fucking Samoan broken English, to old Chinese lady broken English. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Studies actually showed that court reporters understand and interpret African American vernacular 30% better than any automated or even outsourced transcription company shit outside of the US.
Right. One of the reasons why I picked her to be in my life is because she actually understood me. A lot of people, when I go to my Geechee accent, don't understand a fucking word that I'm saying. She still can understand because she speaks so many languages, and once you speak more than like 2 languages, you can kind of pick up, like even if you don't necessarily know the language, you can kind of figure it out over time. So that's why like people say, you know, automation is going to kill every job. There's some jobs that, and I'm pretty sure that maybe 50 to 100 years in like the future, we're going to finally be able to fucking do it. Finally. But maybe. But even then, the amount of computing power to store that many dialects, it's just massive. You can't do it, man. Like it's not gonna be possible. So, just to give you a little bit of kudos. Court reporting, by the way, is a very well-paying job if you do it privately and if you just do medical depots. Because you can charge you can charge by the page, and everyone's going to want a copy. When it's medical, it's going to be the insurance companies, the hospitals, the patient, the doctors. usually there's multiple doctors.
Tell them to look up NCRA if they're interested in going.
Look up NCRA if you're interested.
NCRA.org, National Court Reporters.
NCRA.org, National Court Reporters Association, because you can make a lot of money. I don't want to tell how much she makes, but I'm gonna put it to you like this. I'm at 100% VA. I make combined about $400 a month. This chick makes more than double that in 2 weeks. Seriously, she made more than double that in 2 weeks. So